century, when the world has long been talking about smart cities, automated subways, and skyscrapers, there are still places where people must live amidst garbage, smoke, and despair. There, a home can be a tomb, a meal can be scavenged from waste dumps, and neighbors are nameless souls in the darkness. Join us on a journey through hellish cities that make the world shudder, where human resilience is stronger than fate. North Manila Cemetery. Without prior notice, you might think this is just another poor residential area in Manila, the capital of the Philippines. Narrow alleys, clotheslines crisscrossing, children playing, adults cooking in the courtyard. But upon closer look, you realize that beneath their feet are graves, the walls are tombstones, and the awnings shielding them from the sun are the resting places of the deceased. In the heart of bustling Manila, North Manila Cemetery has existed for over a century as a parallel world, where the living and the dead share the same roof. This cemetery was originally built in the early 20th century for the Tondo nobility and the wealthy class. But over time, as land prices soared and poverty spread, the poor began to build shacks, expand, and turn graves into actual dwellings. Today, thousands of people live on over 1 million graves. They sleep on coffin lids, cook rice beside altars, and hang laundry between rows of cold tombstones. There are two-story apartments built atop ancient tombs, with iron doors, electric fans, TVs, and even internet. Children born here are accustomed to playing hide and seek among tombstones with different names, treating them as their own backyard. Daily life unfolds with bizarre normalcy. Street vendors still pass by every night, and loudspeaker announcements still echo through narrow pathways. When night falls, dim yellow lights illuminate walls engraved with Latin inscriptions, creating a surreal scene, as if life is taking root in the realm of rest. Yet, behind this calm facade lies a harsh reality. Those living in this cemetery did not choose it out of longing, but because they have nowhere else to go. Housing in the Philippines, especially in Manila, is so expensive that even a small rented room far exceeds their monthly income. Amidst garbage, smoke, and tombs, they still choose to survive by collecting scrap, selling small goods or tending graves in exchange for shelter. North Manila Cemetery is a concentrated portrait of Asia's wealth disparity, where fear has eaten away to habit, and poverty has become a million-ton verdict. Amid millions of silent souls, these small people still ignite the flame of survival, with breath, smiles, and an unwavering will to not disappear. Smoky Mountain. Right in the heart of Tondo District in Manila, the capital of the Philippines, there's a mountain no one wants to conquer. It is not made of rock or soil, but from millions of tons of accumulating waste over decades. Locals call it Smoky Mountain, because the heat and toxic smoke from smoldering garbage never cease, day or night. From afar, black smoke billows, covering the sky, while the smell of burning waste permeates every breath. Yet, what makes the world shudder is not the garbage mountain itself, but the fact that tens of thousands of people live right on it. They build houses with tin, scrap wood, plastic, and anything salvaged from the waste dumps. Beneath their feet is not soil, but a thick layer of garbage, where every step crunches with the sound of broken plastic and clinking glass. Children here are born and raised with the smell of burning trash. By day, they wade through piles of scrap to collect metal fragments, plastic, and paper to sell for a few coins. At night, they sleep in makeshift shelters, roofs covered with plastic sacks, listening to the crackling of burning garbage. In a place where hunger always lurks, people must devise ways to survive, even if only with what others have discarded. From city restaurants, eateries, and garbage trucks, they salvage leftover food. Bits of chicken, fish, rice, and vegetables, wash them, fry them again, and sell them. Pag. It has become a lifeline for thousands of families here. No one knows exactly how many cacti meals they have eaten in their lives, only that banks hit if you continue to live day by day. Occasionally, amidst the smoke and stench, laughter so. Women cook rice over blazing tin stoves, sharing each scrap of salvage. Children play around garbage trucks, and whenever heavy rain falls, the entire area seems temporarily cleansed, leaving behind a rare, pleasant smell of hay. In 1995, the Philippine government closed Smoky Mountain due to severe pollution. But just a few years later, the people returned. Elsewhere, they had nothing, but here at least they can make a living from garbage. Today, the area around the mountain's base has been partially rebuilt with sturdier houses, concrete roads, and brighter tin roofs. But smoke still rises, and poverty has never left. Smoky Mountain is not just a symbol of poverty, but also proof of humanity's fierce survival instinct. Amidst garbage, smoke, and struggle, they still laugh, still love, still hope, in a world where everyone wants to soar to the sky. In the Philippines, there is still another mountain, where people step up from garbage to find light for themselves. Dharavi. In the heart of Mumbai, a city hailed as the economic heart of India, exists a world entirely opposite. On an area of just about 2 square kilometers, over 1 million people jostle to live in the Dharavi slum, where every square meter of land is a blend of human odor, smoke, sewage, and the pungent scent from small workshops operating day and night. Stepping into Dharavi is like getting lost in a giant maze, with narrow alleys just wide enough for 2 people to pass in. Roofs are so low you can touch them, electrical wires tangle overhead, sewage flows in streams right by doorsteps, and children run barefoot through black puddles. Adults toil diligently in windowless rooms, lit only by a faint bulb. But amidst that seemingly bleak scene, Dharavi lives and lives in its own way. Here, poverty does not equate to idleness. On the contrary, Dharavi is a giant productive engine, with hundreds of thousands working in tens of thousands of small workshops. People recycle plastic, produce soap, make leather goods, pottery, sew clothes, even export to Europe. Each alley is a miniature production chain, where every family is both worker and workshop owner. It is estimated that Dharavi's informal economy generates over $1 billion annually, though most operate without licenses, taxes, or contracts. Hard to believe, but within Asia's largest slum, there are schools, mosques, Hindu temples, Christian churches, and even art galleries. Many photographers, filmmakers, and architects from around the world come here. Not just to document poverty, but to understand how community can turn hardship into a source of creativity. This very place inspired the famous film, Slumdog Millionaire. The story of a boy growing up in the slums but never ceasing to dream. Dharavi is a paradox of modern times. Dirty, cramped, poor, yet brimming with vitality. Amidst the sounds of hammers, sewing machines, and echoing calls in dark alleys, one senses a special rhythm, the rhythm of people who never give up. Here, amidst suffocating poverty, creativity burns brightest, like a flame that never extinguishes in India's bustling inferno. Makoko. Leaving crowded Asia for Africa, we encounter another city, not on land but floating on water. That is Makoko, the poorest settlement in Lagos, the economic capital of Nigeria. From afar, Makoko resembles a giant wooden maze stretching to the horizon, where houses, schools, and markets are built on thousands of wooden stilts driven deep into the swamp. No one knows exactly when Makoko formed. Some say it emerged over 100 years ago, when the first fishermen built temporary houses here for convenient fishing. But over time, the population soared and the makeshift houses turned into a real city, an African Venice. Except here, the water is murky black and the smell of waste is pungent. Life in Makoko is both harsh and surreal. Roads are narrow canals and the only transport is small wooden canoes. Children learn to paddle before they can walk. Adults trade right on the water, from fish and firewood to groceries. Some are born, grow up, and die without ever setting foot on land. Beneath those houses flows thick water, mixed with oil, trash, and insects. Whenever it rains heavily, the foul smell rises, swirling in the air like a silent warning. Yet, within that grim picture, the community there are still sounds of the floating market, children laughing, and hammers rhythmically tapping on boat hulls. Charity organizations once built a floating school from bamboo and barrels, so children could study right on the water, an image that surprised and moved the world. The Nigerian government has repeatedly announced plans to demolish Makoko, calling it an illegal settlement, but even after destruction, residents return, for they have nowhere else to go. In Makoko, they are poor but free. They have no land, but they have the sky and water. Each morning, as the red sun shines on black water, people begin a new day, still fishing, still trading, still smiling as if poverty cannot drown them. Makoko is not a place of despair, but where life finds a way to float even without a foundation. Amid polluted water and windy skies, this city exists as a strange metaphor. But humans, wherever they are, always know how to cling to hope to avoid sinking. Kibera. Leaving the floating houses of Makoko, the journey leads us to Kenya, where within the bustling capital Nairobi, another world exists. Kibera, Africa's largest slum, is a giant maze of tin, wood, and mud, sprawling over hillsides covering more than 10 square kilometers. It is home to about 700,000 people, and by many estimates, the real number may exceed 1 million. Walking through Kibera, one easily forgets that just a few kilometers away are modern buildings, commercial centers, and brightly lit diplomatic districts. Here, roads are just red dirt paths, dusty and hazy in the dry season, and muddy swamps in the rainy season. Tiny houses are overcrowded, with rusty tin roofs and thin mud walls so thin you can hear neighbors clearly. Clean water and electricity are only available at a few common points, and toilets are public pits shared by dozens. Yet, amidst that scene, Kibera still has its own rhythm of life, strong and noisy. Each morning, the sounds of hammers, vendors' calls, and laughter echo throughout the alleys. Women display fruit, vegetables, and second-hand clothes. Youth form rap groups telling their life stories. Some open barber shops, some set up old internet cafes with a few computers tangled with wires. Poverty has never stopped them from working and dreaming. Kibera is not just a slum, it is a miniature society with schools, churches, temples, health centers, and movie theaters. In makeshift theaters of white sheets, action films play on shaky screens, children laugh loudly, forgetting the smell of mud and hunger. During festivals, music fills the area. Drum beats and singing blend with people calling each other in various languages. For Kibera is a convergence of dozens of ethnic groups migrating from across Kenya and neighboring countries. Many charity organizations have come here, building bridges, digging wells, opening classes. But it is the people of Kibera themselves who never stop lifting themselves up. They clean trash, repair roofs, share meals with each other during stormy days. Kibera is a heartbreaking yet beautiful paradox, where poverty, slums, and human warmth coexist. Amidst that labyrinth, there is still the light of resilience, of music, of smiles that never fade. And perhaps precisely because of this, Kibera, though called hell, feels more humanly warm than many luxurious places out there. Garbage City at Mokattam. If Nairobi is where people live amidst slums, then in North Africa, within the capital Cairo of Egypt, there is another city where people live amidst garbage. At the foot of the Mokattam Hills, the settlement named Garbage City is where tens of thousands of Egyptian citizens from the Coptic community reside. For many generations, they have tied their lives to the work of collecting, sorting, and recycling garbage. Upon entering Garbage City, the first thing that strikes the eye is roads flooded with plastic bags, bottles, tin cans, fabric scraps, and leftover food. Garbage trucks piled high like mountains come and go day and night. A pungent stench rises, seeping into every breath. Yet, amidst this scene that seems unbearable, the people here still carry on with their daily lives normally. They chat and trade, cook, and even hold weddings right among the hills of trash. The people of Mokattam are called the Zabali, meaning the garbage collectors. Each family is responsible for an area of Cairo, collecting garbage to bring home and sorting it annually. Plastic, metal, paper, fabric, all are separated. They work with their hands, without gloves, without masks, under dust and flies. Tiny children also know how to distinguish each type of garbage, sometimes even faster than adults. Thanks to this seemingly lowly work, Cairo has become one of the cities with the highest garbage recycling rates in the world. Among the crooked houses, there are churches, schools, and small grocery stores. Some homes even hang colored lights and saint pictures, as a way to hold on to fate in an environment full of decay smells. Some say that in Garbage City, every morning begins with the crowing of roosters, mixed with the sound of garbage trucks, and ends with the sound of thousands of hands sorting garbage under flickering yellow lights. This work is not just a livelihood, it has become the identity of the community. The Zabaleen are proud because they turn what the world discards into something useful. From within the stench, they find the value of labor. From dirty things, they create opportunities for their children to go to school, to dream. Garbage City is a moving paradox, where people live among garbage, yet their souls remain surprisingly pure. There, everyone understands that nothing is completely useless, even when it is discarded. And perhaps precisely because of this, amidst those heaps of waste, people still find something priceless: human dignity. The self-built Irangi town in Karachi. Amidst the dusty outskirts of Karachi, the largest city in Pakistan, there is a place so special that urban planners worldwide still call it by a very strange name: the self-built city. That is Irangi town, a poor settlement once considered the largest slum in Asia, where over 2 million people built a city of their own without waiting for anyone's help. In Irangi, almost everything started from zero. No clean water, no electricity, no sewage, no paved roads. Every rain turned the whole neighborhood into a muddy river. But instead of waiting for the government, the people rolled up their sleeves and got to work, pooling money and effort, digging drains, laying pipes, paving roads. Men rolled up their sleeves with shovels, women carried water, and children helped pick up bricks, pull roads. When the first project was completed, the whole area cheered as if they had just built a miracle. From there, the self-built movement slept. Every house in Irangi bears the mark of its owner's hands. Not perfect, but sturdy. Along the narrow roads, people opened small shops, tailoring shops, bicycle repair shops. Children went to study in makeshift classrooms built with mud and bamboo. Without formal planning, but through collective effort, the slum gradually turned into a real city. This miracle became known to the world thanks to a man named Akhtar Hamid Khan, a Pakistani scholar who lived with the residents of Irangi for many years. He did not come to do charity, but to show that the poor could change their own lives. Under his guidance, the project named Irangi Pilot Project was born, helping hundreds of thousands of households self-build water systems, housing, and public services. That model was later praised by the United Nations as a lesson in community strength and applied in many other countries. Today, Irangi town is still poor but far from its slum image of the past. Main roads are paved, many homes have electricity, TVs, even the internet. Children go to school, adults go to work, and old walls are brightened with fresh paint. Here, people find not only the will to survive but also the pride of a community that knows how to stand on its own feet. Irangi town is not a story of aid but a story of resilience. In a world where many still wait for miracles from outside, the poor people of Pakistan created their own miracle. A miracle born from the belief that, together, they could rebuild an entire city. Roshina. If there is a place that confuses people between the boundaries of heaven and hell, it is Roshina, the largest slum in the city of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. From afar, Roshina looks like a giant painting covering the hillside. Tens of thousands of small houses stacked on top of each other, vibrant with colors. At the foot of the hill, the boulevard leads straight to Copacabana Beach, a symbol of wealth and luxury, where tourists sunbathe and music plays all night. Yet, just a few hundred meters up the hillside, a different world emerges. Narrow, dark alleys, tangled electrical wires, peeling walls, the scent of dampness and cooking smoke mingling in the air. Roshina is home to over 200,000 people, most living in cramped, informal houses without stable access to clean water. Despite this, the favela has an oddly intense rhythm of life. In the morning, residents head down to the streets to work. Women sell street food, men take on odd jobs in tourist areas. Children play soccer on patchy concrete pitches. At night, Roshina glows with the sound of samba, drums, and cheers. Festivals, music, and traditional dances make the entire hillside come alive. Though poor, the people here find joy in every moment, believing that joy is the one thing no one can take away. Roshina was once a center of crime and gangs, but behind that lies a tight-knit community. Residents have started their own classes, set up shops, and formed groups to teach children painting and music. There are artists, photographers, and filmmakers who grew up in Roshina, telling the story of this favela through their own eyes. To them, Roshina is not just about poverty, it is also a place of identity and an unquenchable vitality. When dusk falls, sunlight reflects off the faded tin roofs, making the hillside blaze like a giant flame. In that moment, it's hard to distinguish between hell and heaven, because Roshina holds both. This is a place of hardship and insecurity, but also one of warmth and raw authenticity. Amid the stacked houses, amid the music and dust, the people of Roshina still smile, still love life, still believe in tomorrow. And perhaps they are the very proof that even in the most extreme places, life knows how to shine brightly. The world is not only made of glass buildings reflecting sunlight, but also of favelas, cemeteries, and dumps reflecting human gazes. There, people still live, love, are born, and die, in ways the rest of the world often chooses to ignore. These cities that startle the world are not just stories of poverty, they are also testimonies to human resilience. They survive in seemingly impossible conditions, yet preserve their dignity, compassion, and hope. And perhaps it is precisely these forgotten people who understand the deepest meaning of the word survival.